Now, we have 4 absolute gladiators and stalwarts in the crypto world. So it's quite incredible to have all 4 of them in one place at one point in time. So firstly, thank you to all of them. Please give them a big hand. They are the stars for today. So before I go into the details, let me just put a couple of remarks as far as the context is concerned. Let's take the macro view of the crypto world. How big do you think the crypto world is? In the audience, how big do you think in number of trillions of dollars is the crypto world? Any idea? Sorry? 600 trillion? Billion. It's somewhere between 1.5 to $2 trillion. That's the range. Now, what does that represent in terms of the overall ecosystem and the overall market that we have around in the world? The global market of assets available for investable assets is 400 trillion. This is less than 0.5%. The investable assets are 160 trillion. Equities are about 100 trillion. US equities about 50 trillions. Family assets about 50 trillions. What I'm trying to share with you is that even though it's extremely topical and emotional, it is still in its infancy. It's starting out. It's a little bit like what the internet was in 1995, 96. So that's one of the comments I wanted to make. A lot of people just seem to be, I'm just throwing balls in the air so we have at least some context, is FOMO, fear of missing out. That if we are not in this game, think, oh my God, if I had invested in Amazon in 1996, where would I have been today? If you start doing those kinds of calculations, and crypto's already reached 1.5 trillion, and if it goes onto this doubling curve, which it is very likely to be, where will it be? So that's the FOMO bit that's sort of coming in, and I'm sure these will all be debated. So, enough from my side, enough context. This is the motion here today. These are the kind of facts that we are working with as we look into the future. So
I started running Bitcoin meetups in 2015 in Dubai. Guess how many people came to my first Bitcoin meetup in 2015? One person came.
I was just guessing.
And I was, it was a very successful meetup. We had a very good time, and I was hoping to improve on those numbers eventually. And later this month, 20,000 people getting together at the event that I'm helping to organize, with all of my friends here. Over 20,000 people are coming from all over the world to talk about crypto, NFTs, blockchain, metaverses. So can you imagine the sort of goosebumps I get? Back in 2015, I was the crazy Bitcoin lady who was talking about the crazy internet money, and now I cannot even get anybody on my side here to argue against crypto. So the times are changing, and it's only been 7 years. So
But I thought you were still the crazy Bitcoin lady. I mean, obviously that hasn't changed at all.
I'm still the Bitcoin lady, but I'm not crazy anymore, right?
Oh, okay.
Because there's so many of us nowadays. It's actually boring. I need to rebrand to something more crazy, so hopefully you can help me. But it's so amazing to see you all here, and I have certainly improved on my one-person Bitcoin meetup numbers, and it's absolutely amazing seeing you here.
Brilliant.
Thank you, Tarek, so much.
No, thank you, Irina. Thank you for being here. And since you opened this debate, why don't you introduce yourself, who you are, 30 seconds, just tell us about you so the people know about you. I was going to go that way, but you break the rules, which I love. Please, go ahead.
Irina Hever, lawyer. I lead crypto practice with a publicly listed law firm called Keystone. I'm a venture capitalist. I have a venture fund of $20 million. We're investing in GameFi and metaverse projects. And
perfect. Thank you very much.
So my name is Feroz Sanalla, and I've been in this region for about 14 years. I came here as a VC. I was running Intel Capital and looked at a lot of startups while I was here. I must say that, unlike my friend here, I've never owned Bitcoin. I don't have a wallet, and I don't probably intend to own it for some reasons, and I'll share with you the reasons. What I do is I focus on building a crypto economy. And crypto economy is way bigger than Bitcoin as a currency or wannabe currency. And we'll talk a little bit about that. Because the underlying aspect of running economies is based on the good and the bad, the goodness and badness of things, right? So the reward mechanism for that goodness and badness can be a Bitcoin, or it could be a token, or it could be anything. And so what the economy does is when the economy gets built, it's built around the construct of having rewards, and those rewards are in the form of tokens, right? So what do I do here? I am the global head of the crypto economy for Roland Berger, which is a consulting firm. And I work with all my colleagues in developing that economy.
My name is Sakir Erikat. It's an absolute honor and a pleasure. Thank you for the Capital Club to host us. Thank you for Tarek for putting this together. I am the managing partner and co-founder of an investment fund into an investment structure into cryptocurrencies that are based out of the UAE. I'm also the co-founder of an ecosystem play called the Crypto Oasis.
Oh boy, let's make it simple. I've been here for 25 years, so this used to be a lot of sand. So a lot of things have been built since then. I think at the time when I first arrived here, we used to remove the pictures from the websites because the internet was too slow to download because it was over dial-up. Anyway, I'm a mathematician, expert in cybersecurity for 22 years as well. And I helped founded or co-founded several things. One is something called EcoX that we started almost 4 years plus ago, which built a very small team of people to meet weekly, and now we have reached probably, I don't know, 150, 200. But we meet weekly, and we have a community of somewhere between 7,000 and 10,000 people. At the same time, obviously, I've helped co-founded other things and assist projects like, for example, Simba Storage, which protects Bitcoins. We have an electronic bank, and we provide advisory services for projects in terms of being successful using these tokenization technologies. And I also helped co-founded something called GBO, Global Blockchain Organization, that advises enterprises as well as governments on the usage of digitization technologies such as blockchain, not just blockchain or crypto, but beyond crypto, blockchain as a technology. That's all.
Thank you, George. And you won the most influential person in blockchain last year, didn't you? You did, in the UAE. Super. So let's let the debate begin. You guys set the motion. Why should it be crypto now?
So the motion in front of us here today, Mr. Speaker, to be in the proper form, the motion in front of us here, Mr. Speaker, is Bitcoin now, cryptocurrencies now, or not yet? Now, with that, we have to take into consideration that suddenly, for the first time in history, for the first time in technology, we have digital value that can move through the internet without us being worried that this value can be copied or replicated anywhere else in the world. This is being dubbed the largest wealth transition in history. Why a wealth transition? Because suddenly these young children, gamers, online gamblers, people that have never actually participated in economy are now billionaires that are looked upon and respected across society. Do I think that this is a good idea? Definitely not. Do I believe that cryptocurrencies and blockchain, most importantly blockchain because it's the facilitating technology, will change the world as we know it? I think we've already seen the beginning of it.
I think blockchain as a technology enhances how we actually digitize the banking system. So the things that traditionally were performed and could easily be falsified now have a mechanism without centralization to enable these operations. Now, of course, the technology has evolved a lot over the last 15 years. Bitcoin was the first, and we had Ethereum, which introduced elements known as smart contracts. And I think smart contracts are actually extremely important because they allow us to put rules that we use between relationships of those parties as well. I do believe that the future is here, but it's here beyond what we can comprehend. And what I mean by that, if we look at Bitcoin as one, we look at Ethereum as other, today we have what's called digital assets. And those digital assets allow us to tokenize the things that are part of our everyday life. This could actually be US dollars. By the way, the most popular currency today is called USDT, not even Bitcoin. That's the one we use the most. Why? Because it's stable, and we can use to make payments with it, and it's always fixed to something that we already understand. Number two that I think is also important is we can tokenize things like real estate or gold or other things that we already use today in the physical world. But the big advantage of making it digital is that we can send it over the air between individuals without an intermediary almost instantaneously.
So cryptocurrencies, right? Who builds them? Some anonymous person hiding in God knows where? Is it even a person? Bitcoin I'm talking about, right? Let's talk about other cryptocurrencies. The kids sitting in their parents' garages and hacking away, creating hundreds and hundreds and thousands of various different cryptocurrencies. Is that somewhere you want to put your hard-earned money? I mean, you look like you work really hard for your money. Like, why would you trust some kid in a garage to, with your hard-earned money? Are you crazy? What's wrong with you? Then let's talk about the collapse of 2017. Over 99% of the ICOs turned out to be a scam, turned out to be a rug pull, turned out to be a complete God know what nonsense. Is that something what you want? Like, sir, I mean, you look like a reasonable person. Why would you do this to your own hard-earned money? Now also, let's talk about the environment. I care about the environment. I recycle. I, keep my windows closed. Do you care about environment at all? Do you know how much energy Bitcoin mining uses? Have you heard of the, the global warming lately? Do you not read the newspapers? Think for yourself before you're getting sucked into something absolutely crazy.
Look, let me give you some real context. Bitcoin, roughly $1.5 trillion liquidity globally. US dollars, about 88 trillion, right? Just to give you some perspective, how much money actually sloshes around the world. Probably about 50% of the US dollars are probably on the dark side and 50% are over the table. That's fine. That's the United States problem, not our problem. But that gives you an idea of how much money is out there and the size of Bitcoin. Second point is that for any currency to exist, there are three things that need to happen. It needs to be a medium of exchange where you can use it to buy something. Bitcoin is certainly not there. Very few people, maybe the Lamborghini dealership takes Bitcoin, but nobody else does. It needs to have a unit of account. How do you account for Bitcoin today? You always compare it to the US dollar. Why do you compare it to the US dollar? If Bitcoin was Bitcoin, why would you even want to compare to anything? Do you compare the US dollar to anything? You don't, right? And so from a unit of account, you really don't have a particular leg to stand on. And the last attribute that a currency has is that it has a store of value. And here people say, oh, Bitcoin is digital gold. But have you ever seen any country store gold like the US does in Fort Knox or Europe does in their underground bunkers? Right? No government stores Bitcoin anywhere.
Okay, wonderful. All right, very strong positions made. Now, you guys have a quick chance of swapping and walking across the aisle if you wish to. Anybody walking onto this side after that performance? On this side? Anybody from this side walking on?
Oh, you'll be walking back. Just hold on. It's okay.
Okay, so one person. Okay, fine. So
All right.
So what I'm going to do is to give you, now you guys have 5 minutes to ask these questions and these guys the questions and the points that they have made, and they're allowed to rebut your question.
The speakers make a wonderful argument, rhetorically so beautiful. One of our speakers is educated as a lawyer. How can I humble business and information technology masters, deal with that, right? A beautiful argument. It doesn't count, though, because most of what they told you is factually incorrect. Let's start by the fact that they are actually, both of them, cryptocurrency advocates. But let's start with what Firdaus gave us. Gave us this wonderful spiel about it is not our problem if there's money laundering, it's the US problem. Is it the US problems if we are now on the grey list, Firdaus?
Good point. Firdaus. Chatham House rules, nothing is going out. Is it?
Look,
Is it a UAE problem right now that we're on the gray list due to the US?
No, absolutely is.
Perfect. All right. First point rebutted. It is our problem, all of us. Unfortunately, today, if anyone would like to know how many US dollars are in circulation, no one knows. If you ask me about any cryptocurrency and what circulating value it has today, I know. And you know what? You know as well. Because it's publicly available, it's transparent, and it's accessible to everyone. Does that make it the alpha and the omega? Definitely not. But for the first time, we actually have a way to transact on the internet, this internet that changed our life in ways that we don't even know. For the first time, a similar technology is coming along, and it's called blockchain, and the first application of it is Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Do I believe that this is the best thing in the world? No. Has the other side presented valid arguments to invalidate our arguments? No, because you know what? They're advocates themselves.
We talked about garages. You know many things that started in a garage? Oh, Amazon is a garage. Google is a garage.
They're a publicly listed regulated entity. The kid who is hacking at the cryptocurrency, 99% of them which went to zero is not regulated and therefore went to zero.
The beautiful thing is that we talked about Bitcoin, but there's Bitcoin, there is USDT, which is backed by US dollars.
And again, they have never been audited. We do not know if it's backed, and everybody is to believe that
There's
USDT
actually been
is
3
an absolute
audits.
scam.
And beyond that, there is USDC. There's actually about 10 different currencies that are backed and have been digitized, which is quite an interesting aspect, because beyond that, there's also digitization of real estate, digitization of gold. So at the end of the day, you can digitize the things that you consider to be valuable. At the end of the other point was about regulation. We are just recently regulated here in UAE today, actually, a very famous organization known as Binance. We did it 3 or 4 days ago in Bahrain. So that means there is definitely a big change in the air. And the big change that is happening in the air is that digital currencies and crypto is becoming part of traditional finance.
We're talking about Bitcoin as a store of value or Bitcoin as a medium of exchange. I mean, what store of value? Today is $3, tomorrow is $3,000, tomorrow is $2,000 more. Today I woke up, I went to the beach, it was 40-something thousand, I came back, it's $20,000. So I am not okay with my net worth going up and down. I have kids, I have to pay for their college. How am I going to budget my expenses? So how are you planning to do that? I met your little baby yesterday. How are you planning to budget that? That is just ridiculous. So that's one. Then another thing is you're talking about tokenizing gold, tokenizing properties. What is this? There's enough of properties to go around. I can go buy an apartment. This sir can go and buy an apartment. Why does he need to tokenize anything? Tokenizing gold, you can go to Gold Souk and buy any gold you want. Why would you want to tokenize with this token that you can potentially lose? I mean, who is here? Raise your hand if you think you're a professional at key management and cybersecurity. Have you ever, one
You
guy,
are?
fantastic.
Well done.
One guy, everybody else, have you ever lost a password for your Google Gmail and had to recover it? Have you done it? Yes, everybody is waving. Try losing a password for your, try losing your keys for your cryptocurrency. How are you gonna recover it? Goodbye, thank you very much. Calling Satoshi Nakamoto, the guy in the garage? No, thank you, that's not gonna happen.
Last point.
Let's talk about energy a bit. And again, you have to put things in perspective.
Yes.
Yes, Bitcoin does take the energy. The energy use is high, and it's almost the size of countries, right?
Yes, Argentina.
So perhaps the size, exactly, the size of Argentina or something like that. But you see, if you put it in perspective, the Christmas lights that you light at Christmas consume more power than some countries do, right? And so you have to put it in perspective. Are you going to stop lighting your Christmas trees every Christmas? If you want to do that, that's fine. Be good to the world. Stop lighting the cities. Turn off all the lights. Why do you need about 40 bulbs here in this room when 2 bulbs could suffice? So look, the world is a wasteful place.
He's in the lighting business. He's screaming now. Yeah, please don't do that.
No, I'm back here on this side. You're on the wrong side.
No, but his side has no lights on. It's your side that's wasting the energy,
Yeah.
right?
Well spotted. Very well spotted.